What's going on out there, Spotlight Faithful? It's your main man, Tommy, on the spot. Good evening to each and every... You know what? Great evening to each and every one of you. Because if you're a professional wrestling fan right now, and you didn't have a great Tuesday, then I'm not too sure if you have a pulse. Last night's Monday Night Raw was, in my opinion, one of the better Monday Night Raws in a really, really long time. I have no problem saying it was even better than the show that I had gone to last week in Brooklyn. Just a phenomenal show that ended with Kevin Owens becoming the brand new WWE Universal Champion of Raw, and I gotta give him a lot of credit for that. You know I'm a huge Kevin Owens fan. Just a few weeks ago, myself, Ari, and Deej traveled down to New Jersey to go meet Kevin Owens. I put the photo up on my Twitter at Tommy on the Spot. I've been a fan of this guy for a really, really long time. Probably, I'd say, since about 2008 to 2009-ish. Myself and a couple of buddies had gone down to a Ring of Honor show in Long Island on the day of a blizzard, and it was like coming down ridiculously hard, but we still traveled out there. Ring of Honor kept the show going, and because of the weather conditions, though, very few wrestlers were able to make it that day, and they ended up just wiping the slate clean, doing a complete 8-man tournament with whatever really was left of the roster that was there, a one-night-only tournament. And one of the guys in the tournament was Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen at the time, his real name. And you know, at the time it was kind of like, oh, okay, this is a bit of a tag guy. You know, he's kind of fun. He is in a little team with El Generico, and I'm sure he'll do fine enough, and you know, maybe make it to the semis at most. But instead, he put on 3 stellar matches. To me, you know, an absolute inspiration when you consider the fact this guy was a bigger type of guy. Didn't look like he'd be able to kind of hang, but just had 3 unbelievable matches. The stamina like a sumbitch, and honestly, from that moment forward, became one of my favorite wrestlers. And to just see that, really, if you kind of, in my opinion, if you look back, and a buddy and I were discussing this yesterday on the Twitter, if you look back, that's kind of the start of the ascension of Kevin Owens. And if you follow his story, I mean, it's a hell of a good feel-good story in the world of professional wrestling. This guy literally in 2012 was sitting in the stands as a fan in Brooklyn for TLC, the day that the Shield debuted, to support his friend Seth Rollins, and has just been around and gone on podcasts and realized, he said, at that moment, that was the last show he was going to attend as a fan, and that, you know, hopefully next time WWE, if he was at a WWE pay-per-view, he'd be wrestling for WWE, but really didn't think he'd ever make it. You could hear podcast after podcast of him saying himself that, you know, yeah, he'd love to make it, but he just didn't see that it was going to be coming, and was told consistently, even by some of the most respected people in wrestling, Jim Cornette namely, came right out and said that this guy would never make it, very publicly, and he really has. He's just proved people wrong. He's been one of the fastest rises from NXT to the WWE roster, beats John Cena on his first ever pay-per-view appearance, and then from there it's just been, you know, guns a-blazing, and I think WWE really made the right call last night. I didn't predict it because I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought they'd kind of play it safe and go either with Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns, but they decided that this was really the time that they wanted something different, and wanted to go in a different direction. It didn't work out with Finn Balor, so let's see what he got with Kevin Owens. I think that it's a really, really good idea, and it's a lot of fun. Obviously, I don't think Cass was the way to go, but I didn't think Cass looked bad for his first real high-profile, you know, singles type of match for WWE. And if you look back at that show yesterday, the way they built that main event, if you tuned in to the beginning of Raw, you weren't going to tune out until after that match was over. The entire show was focused really around this match. I mean, there were some other good things on the program last night. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Chris Jericho these days is just, he's the man. He's just awesome. But that main event last night, I mean, right from the start with all 4 of them in the ring together and the tension building, and Kevin Owens, he really came across as the guy people wanted right from the start. People were just behind this guy, and people were cheering for him any chance they got. And from there, you know, the profile pieces on each one of the 4 guys throughout the show, leading right into the main event. And it was a hell of a match. I mean, these guys really just tore each other apart. Say what you will. A lot of people hate on Roman Reigns, but this guy can straight go. And really, when it came down specifically, I mean, Cass held his own, Cass did his thing, but when it came down to Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns, I mean, can we get a rematch? That was just phenomenal. And yeah, and then of course, you know, not without controversy, Kevin Owens gets the title due to outside help from a returning Triple H. The first time Triple H has been on WWE TV since losing the title himself at WrestleMania. Now shows up, helps Kevin Owens win the belt. A lot of people seem a little bit salty about this, but in all honesty, say what you will about Triple H, him being back on TV, it makes the show mean a little bit more. He is a bona fide star. I hope, though, that this reign for Kevin Owens focuses on Owens and it doesn't focus on Triple H. But regardless, Kevin Owens is the man right now. He is the champion. I couldn't be happier for the guy. Really, a good family guy, a good dude, and it's great to see. So, hats off to Kevin Owens and to the WWE for doing the right thing yesterday, putting on a great show. Right now, SmackDown Live is on. I'm really interested to kind of check that show out when I get home. Be back with you guys in the morning, like we usually do. Maybe the Headbangers are on their way to the tag title to become the first tag champs in SmackDown. Don't think so, but we'll see how that goes. Interesting to see how they follow up with The Miz and Daniel Bryan, which I'm sure at this point you already know how that goes. That said, thank you so much for joining us right here. Let me know what you thought about last night's show. Were you for the Kevin Owens win? Were you hoping maybe more for Seth Rollins, or maybe more for who, by the way, I think Seth Rollins is going to be your top babyface. It really looked like that moving forward off that show yesterday. So, but were you hoping maybe Seth got the belt? Were you hoping Big Cass got the belt? Let me know on the Twitter at TommyOnTheSpot. Follow along on thedailyspotlight.com. We're going to have a whole bunch more content coming up over the next couple days. And check out the video I posted this morning for the Travel Tuesday section of the Daily Spotlight official YouTube page. Checking out a boardwalk in Atlantic City. Sorry this got up so late today.